Right, Agnesckia, it's a pleasure to have you back on the podcast. How you doing?
Hi, Adam. It's a pleasure to be here again. I'm doing amazing. How are you?
No, great, great. Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. And yeah, no, it's great to have you back on and great to connect again. And I was just saying before we started recording. I was listening to your podcast, and got really hooked into your episodes. And I just want to say you're doing a great job, and I think you're doing amazing. How has it kind of been? With the podcast, you've been enjoying it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, first of all. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, because we are recording with my good friend. So we have a good flow of energy, and she's very knowledgeable on on all the topics we have been discussing. So we've been talking a lot about energy vampires. We discussed all different kind of chakras. But obviously we are not closed off to one specific topic, but it's been a lot of fun. But as you know yourself, it's also a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think you both have very, very good chemistry. Like, it's
Yeah.
very, very organic and very nice. And I think you both bounce off from each other, and the topics that you cover, are really in depth, and they just flow really nicely, And yeah, I think you're doing a great job. And it does take a lot of work, so I think you have to try and create that balance, don't you? Try and have that balance.
Sure.
Um,
But this is why it's so much fun to do a podcast with somebody who is a good friend of yours,
hmm.
because it just doesn't feel like work. We are just having so much fun that sometimes,
Yeah.
I have way too many bloopers to edit after because we are just laughing way too much.
I think that's one of the best things about it, isn't it? When you can flow with somebody, and you
Yeah.
kind of just have a nice time, and it feels natural. But then, like you said, you've got to do that work and edit probably bits out and things like that. But
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, for the topic we talked about, we mentioned, like, like programming, like mindset, um, kind of programming your mind, and being aware, of your thoughts, your energy, your environment, people you're around, because we're both studying at NLP at the minute. Do you want to go into that, like, kind of, things that you've picked up on, things that you've learned, like the importance, of kind of programming yourself in the right way?
Well, so basically, we are being programmed all the time, and we are programming ourselves without knowing. So we can either program ourselves the right way, or we are going to be programmed. We are being programmed from the minute that we become conscious. And all the cells in our body, I don't know how many trillions, bazillions cells we have, but they're all listening to us at all times, and they are listening to our internal language, so our thoughts, and they are listening to our external language, our words. So that's why we have to be extremely careful with how we use those, because we can be our own best friend, or we can be our own worst enemy. And the thing with programming and our subconscious mind gets programmed by just anything. And the thing about it is, it doesn't have any sense of humor. So that's why we have to be very careful when we say those jokes about ourselves. Like, I'm so dumb. Like, your subconscious mind doesn't take it as a joke. And just with anything, I pay attention very much never to say things like, I can't afford it. I would turn it into a question. I think I got it from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I may be wrong, but I think that's that I found it. How can I afford it? Rather than saying I can't afford it, you turn it into a question. How can I afford it? And then you open yourself up to finding possibilities and finding opportunities. And so yeah, like, either you get programmed and you just watch TV and watch whatever that is. And there is a lot of people, like, I haven't watched TV in like 11 years or more. And many people are saying, like, yeah, I know TV is bad, but I just watch it, because, I want to know, like, what the propaganda says, etc., etc. But even then, you are getting programmed. Even if you think you are actually just getting informed on what's going on, you are getting programmed, you are getting sucked into a negativity. And the good thing is that you can reprogram yourself at any stage of your life. It doesn't matter how old or how young you are, you know.
Mm. Yeah, no, I think, that's a really great point. And, the fact that there are a lot of, things that are programming people, from the news to, even news on social media, the things people say. And, what we, like you said, the subconscious mind is very powerful. And, the thoughts that we think, it just sees it for what it is. If you say, oh, I'm not good at this, or I'm stupid, or whatever, you believe that. And it's like you said, reframing that and kind of switching it around.
Mm.
If someone says, "Oh, I can't afford that," it's like, one day I will be able to afford that, or that I kind of trying to rewrite it. And like you said, from the media and the news, you have to be very, very careful what you look at, what you take in, the people you surround yourself with. And I'm quite similar to you in that way. I don't really watch TV. I mean, I watch a little bit of Netflix, but closest thing to TV is like YouTube that I look at, or podcasts. And I'm very kind of mindful what I let in. And sometimes if I do see the news, especially recently, you see some news articles and then you see a similar one, and it's the same article but different information, and it just creates confusion, and that leads to like, anxiety. So it's not, great to consume content like that. And I think, like you said, a lot of people are on that kind of work, sleep, consume news and stuff kind of cycle. Um, and can go the other way. But the power of our minds, like you said, and our energy, is so kind of vital that we look after that. And you've spoken about it on your podcast, like chakras, your energy, and how everything kind of all interlinks.
Mhm. And but in general, watching the news is always watching some negative and scary information. I studied
Yeah.
journalism, and one of the main things that I remembered uh, from university was that for the media, bad news is good news for the press.
Yeah.
So whenever you put on TV, you're not gonna get like breaking news, 20 beautiful, healthy puppies were just born, in the
Mm.
state of Minnesota. It's never gonna be, or like someone just have overcome the depression, yay to them, or it's just never gonna be something uplifting and positive. So then we have to understand that by letting that negativity in, we are
Mm.
lowering our vibrations. And when our vibrations are low, we are vibrating out of fear. And fear is one, that's why the news are always trying to scare us, basically. We are supposed to operate out of the state of fear, because then we are also easier to control. But because we can vibrate either out of love, and when we vibrate out of emotions rooted in love, this is when we are the strongest, the happiest. This is when everything is going well for us. We are the healthiest. And when we are vibrating out of fear, this is when our vibrations are very low. When we vibrate out of fear, it's very easy to influence us, especially in the negative way. It's easy to scare us. Our immune system is compromised. So even like with the recent situation in the world, like you will see that the people who are scared the most, they are those who are most likely to get sick, because they are scared. When you are scared, you are also manifesting certain things. Yes. Did it ever happen to you, or did you ever have a friend who would just, he would get cold outside, or he would get his shoes wet, and he would say like, oh, oh, damn it, I'm sure I'm gonna get sick now. And then they got sick, and then they
Yeah.
tell you, what did I tell you? I knew it. But the
Mm.
truth is, they just manifested that. They just got scared. Like, your subconscious mind doesn't also know the difference between, it doesn't read negative statements. So if you say, I don't want more debt, all it takes is debt. If you say, I don't want to get sick, it only takes the sick. Yes.
Mm.
So, so when you are watching the news and any form of negative content, violent content, it doesn't have to be necessarily the news. Yeah, maybe some, horror movies, scary movies. I used to love them. I used to love horror movies since I was like
Really?
5. Oh yeah, I was growing up
Gosh,
on
that's young. 5. Wow.
that. I started early. Yeah, yeah,
Jeez.
and yeah, but they actually really lower your vibrations. So I am not
Mm.
saying not to, just, obviously we just not gonna watch unicorns, dancing on the dancing on the field, but just being conscious of what we are letting in, because any form
Mm.
of negative content is going to lower our vibrations. When our vibrations are low, we are likely to get depression, we are likely to get sick, and we are just not going to be as successful. We are not going to be as successful at anything, really.
Mm.
So just good
Yeah.
to be mindful of that.
I think that's a really great point. And I think, like, you know, the media and, like when you talk about the news, and how it makes people, can make people fearful, and how that, affects your immune system, and, kind of what you think you kind of, attract. And, if you're scared and you're anxious, like I've had it before. I think I had it beginning of coronavirus. I remember feeling very anxious,
Mm,
and I remember, having a few colds, because it affected my immune system. And then I became more aware of my diet, and then became aware of my energy. And I think, like you said, it's so important. You listen to your mindset, your energy, and how your vibration, that you emit, kind of interlinks, to kind of what you're consuming. And you talked about, like, horror movies, and I play sometimes video games, and I've got video games that are horror games, but I
mm,
have to be in the right kind of mindset or in a certain place to be able to, consume certain content, because, like you said, it can affect, your vibration, and, like, the content that you sometimes see. Sometimes my friends send me some links, and I just can't look at it. But I think,
I
I
don't
when
know.
you're yeah, and you're more mind I think you become more mindful to it, don't what you want to let in and what you don't.
Absolutely. And I have informed my friends who are sending me certain negative informations about what's happening in the world. And I said, please don't send me this. I'm not even opening that, but just don't send me this. And they would say, well, it's so important to be informed. And I'm like, I'm going to be informed whether I want it or not, but there are certain things that I need to know.
Mm.
And then there is just so much negativity around that I don't need to take on additionally.
Yeah,
So I would tell my friends, don't send me that. I am not going to look at it.
yeah. How do you kind of like deal with that? You put like those boundaries in place and say,
Yeah,
don't. Yeah.
absolutely. You just have to state that this is not good for my mental health. I know
Mm.
that this is gonna bring down my vibrations. I don't need it. And with kindness, you just say with kindness, please don't
Yeah.
send me that.
Yeah. And I think when we last spoke, we talked about like crystals and like energy, and like I know, you have like a collection of crystals. Like, do you kind of use crystals to kind of like cleanse your energy? Like, do you kind of like burn
Well, I
sage? Kind of.
have different crystals for different things. I broke couple of my favorites.
Oh no.
Uh, yeah, but then I also heard that it's actually not a bad thing. It means that they served you a purpose
Yeah.
and they absorbed all this energy that they needed to absorb. And then this is a sign of release. And then you are
Mm.
supposed to return them to Mother Nature or Mother Gaia, whether it's
Mm.
burying it in the ground or just throwing it in the
Mm.
water. I had
Mm.
actually this funny situation because like my
Yeah. Yeah.
one of my favorite crystals broke. It was an amethyst. Note to self: don't do jumping jacks with
Oh no.
necklaces on. Yeah. Uh, So then I go on the promenade, and there is a lot of people sitting
Yeah.
there at sunrise. Sorry, at sunset, right?
Yeah.
So I do my little thing when I say thank you to the crystal, but it looked, and I have my headphones on, so it probably looked like and then I toss it really far. So then it looked like I'm having a moment, probably like a broke the engagement or something. I'm like, so it totally looked like I'm having a moment. But in terms of protecting your energy, there are different crystals that are used for different things. So like I have
Yeah.
the first ones that I bought were tourmaline and black obsidian, and these are
Nice.
protective crystals, very strong crystals, and they protect the energies. They protect you from the energies. And for the first time, I tried it when I was going home to stay with my parents for a month, and I
Mm.
love them, but 1 month is a bit long for me. So
Yeah.
this is when I met my friend, and she told me, like, you can protect yourself with crystal, buy yourself some sage. And I'm telling you, I never had such a long, peaceful stay at my parents' house. It was
Really.
incredible, really. And I would have moments when, like, if somebody would raise their voice at home, and like I hear they're
Yeah.
having like this nervous discussion, then I just go and I burn sage, and I go and I just burn it like around my dad, and like, oh, dad, I know you
Yeah.
just got very stressed out in this story. Yes, I know. We're gonna cleanse it all out. And they would start laughing at me that I'm a witch. So, but whether it was the sage or whether it was just them thinking that I'm crazy, but everybody
Mm.
would start laughing, and
Yeah.
this
No.
nervous energy would be just gone like that.
I think it's so important, like to have crystals, to use what works for you, whether that's crystal, sage, um, what's the other one?
Well, crystals you use, if in terms of protecting energy, crystals you use to protect your energy, but
Mm.
sage you use to cleanse your energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So some people use it twice a day, every day. I don't use it every day. I use it when I feel
Mm.
like I need it. If I have been maybe in presence of a lot of people, or maybe I was in unpleasant situation or a phone
Yeah.
call, then I feel like I want to cleanse it. I want to cleanse my energy. Or if I'm moving into a new place, then I
Yeah.
obviously I want to cleanse my whole house. But, we
Yeah.
have to remember that these are just tools, and the
Yeah.
real power is within us.
Mm.
And the real work we actually have to do ourselves. It's not like we're just going to buy a bunch of crystals, like, oh, I'm all set.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are very powerful and very great tools.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And, I have like amethyst and, I've like clear quartz and,
Mm.
um, my mom also has like, oh, I don't know what they're called. It's basically amethyst, the tall ones where you can see inside and they're cut in half.
Wow.
Yeah, she has one of those, and my brother was struggling to sleep, and she put it in his room, and then he didn't have any like problems. It really helped him with
Wow.
his.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, so it just shows you. But I also think like, do you think like with energy that music um can kind of help with energy or has kind of energy to it? Certain kind of you
Well,
know
music carries different kind of frequency.
yeah
So, of course, music can either lower our vibration or raise our vibration, and it can get rid of anxiety and help with depression, etc. If you are listening to the right frequencies. One of the most powerful frequencies, it's called frequency of love.
mm,
It's 5 to 8 hertz. And some other very positive frequencies to listen to are also 432. And there are
yeah
several beautiful ones. I usually just put it on in the background when I'm either working or studying or meditating or even sleeping. There are also
mm,
certain frequencies for sleeping. And most of the music, though, most of the popular music that you will find on Spotify and iTunes is actually at frequency 440. And for
right
some unknown reason, I think it was in the 40s. Like, don't take my word for it, but
Yeah, yeah.
it was in the 40s. For unknown reason, all the music was changed to frequency 440. And this is a very dangerous frequency, because this frequency is going to, if you listen to it too much, is going to make you feel inadequate. It's gonna cause anxiety. It's going to cause depression even. If you listen too much of the popular music, I listen to popular music, you know, if I go to the gym and I want to pump myself up,
Mm-hmm.
sure, but like just being conscious, because you know, even some innocently sounding songs that are meant to be positive, even they can influence you in a negative way. So that is frequency 440.
Mm.
And you may even like do a little experiment on yourself, say not listen any popular music for the whole week, and just listen to 5 to 8, for example, instead, and just
Mm.
see how you feel.
Yeah.
And other than that, also when we are listening to popular music, let's say, is to be very conscious of what kind of words are used in those songs, because this is also programming.
Mm.
So it can be very, very damaging. So I started created a playlist for myself, like I'm amazing, and you know, just use all the songs with those positive affirmations that will actually
Yeah.
make you this powerful. But you know, if you will just listen to "We are young, dumb, and broke" every day, like what are you
Yeah.
programming yourself to? So like a few years ago, I have become very, very cautious of what am I actually listening to? What am I programming myself to? Because this can be dangerous stuff. And
Mm.
also all these nasty songs, you know, with
Yeah.
this nasty language. Like I just can't believe I used to vibe to this. Now
Mm.
you know, when you just become aware, when you just become so aware, you are like, damn, like I can't listen to this anymore. This
Yeah.
is really lowering your vibration. This is really not good for you.
Yeah. It's quite powerful, isn't it? Like what you mentioned, being very mindful of what you let in getting to
Mhm.
that place. Even to the point of the music, like you said, sometimes I'm like that. I like hip hop.
Yeah.
But there are some songs where I'm like, I've got to turn this off now.
Yeah.
It's just like, all this cursing and I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, it's, I feel like the weight is like a weight that it carries. Um, and
You physically almost feel it, right?
mm,
You almost feel it. Yeah.
yeah. And I was playing a song earlier. I like, EDM, house music, dance
Yeah.
music. And this playlist, because it was on shuffle, came on, and it was titled "Emotional Chill Step" or something like that. Chill steps, like kind of chill vibes,
Yeah.
and I had to turn it off because it made me feel like a little emotional, because it was like it took me back to if you break up with somebody and certain songs, a song might come on. It was
Mm.
very very much, I don't know, is it there was, like you said, the frequency to it that can just tap into probably a part, what I mean, a part of you, if that makes sense. I had to like
Well,
change it.
yeah. Yeah. Maybe it just brought up certain emotions from the past, but you know, if you are, yeah,
Yeah, it's powerful, isn't it, when you think about it, and like but like you said,
because
it's yeah.
everything is frequency. So it's like we are not a solid material, right? We are just energy vibrating at certain frequency. This
Mm,
mug is not a solid mug, even though it feels like it and it looks like it,
mm,
but it is energy
yeah.
vibrating at certain frequency. Yeah. But then um so then the same thing, like the energy, it doesn't have to be seen. Everything is just a vibration. Yes, my voice is a
Mm,
vibration, music is a vibration, and everything essentially is just a
mm,
vibration. And then we also, the reason why we have to be careful in terms of our vibrations and what kind of frequency are we on, is that we attract what we are. Yes,
Mm.
I talk about it a lot. We attract what we are, not what we want. Oftentimes,
Yes.
people would be trying to manifest things and they are like, oh, it doesn't work. I want it so bad. And I'm like, well, if you want it so bad, then, you are basically manifesting lack of something
Mm.
also. Yeah, because you are basically letting the universe know that you are lacking something. The way to
Mm.
manifest correctly would be like, yes, I already want it, but I'm good either way. And
Mm.
detach yourself from the outcome. But also, if you are vibrating high, you are also going to attract the high vibrational people into your
Mm.
life. Yes, if you are vibrating low, you're gonna attract like really negative and not the best quality people. So
Mm.
that's why we have to be just so mindful. If we want great things to happen to us, then we just have to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. No, I love that, and I really agree with you. And I think, like, the energy that you let in, and the people you connect with, and the things that you want in your life. Like you said, people say, "Oh, I haven't got it," and like you said, it's kind of being on that right frequency as well. You have to be on that frequency to to receive it and kind of let it kind of happen. And I think it's very obvious, I find, in when you meet people, and sometimes you don't know, you've never met someone in your life, but you connect, you're on that kind of same frequency, and you can end up having a long conversation about certain topics. And I remember when we first connected, just on Zoom to touch base, and we was talking for like 2 hours,
Yeah.
and it felt like 10 minutes. And like you said, like energy and frequency and people, sometimes you can talk to people, and I think you mentioned it on one of your podcasts, or your friend did, you can talk to people and then you feel like having to lie down afterwards. Some people you can talk to and you feel like really energized.
Yeah, it's like that's why we have to pay attention how people are making us feel, the people who are around us, because sometimes we can't hear it with our ears and we can't see
Mm.
it with our eyes, so we just have to
Yeah.
pay attention how we feel afterwards, after we are hanging out with someone, because I wasn't aware of that in the past, and I had daily energy vampires in my life, couple on a daily basis. And I remember just always feeling so drained after, and just going over that conversation in my head and just being really drained out of energy.
Mm.
And so it is very useful to just reevaluate our environment, and just even if we meet someone or we meet somebody sometimes, when we walk away, do we feel, because maybe we can just feel neutral, maybe we just don't feel nothing, or we can be energized and uplifted and we're like, man, like, I feel like I could run a marathon now, and you feel
Yeah.
good, you feel energized.
Yeah.
Or you're just completely depleted and you were like, oh my god, I'm so tired now.
Yeah.
So it's really good to reevaluate after those, um, after spending time with
Exchanges.
people. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. No, definitely. I really agree with you. And I think, like sometimes, I think sometimes when you have certain experiences, it kind of makes you more aware. And so I think sometimes we probably have to have certain experiences to kind of, try and learn that lesson, to not be around that kind of energy. When I see your Instagram stories, I always feel like really like kind of uplifted, because the content you put out, makes me laugh. Like you have the side where you can be like really funny, and you just kind of like go in the flow, and it's really nice, and it's and that and that kind of energy that you put out, like you said, you just doing a video, but there is like an element of a frequency and an energy. Do you know what I mean? That can be exchanged from
Absolutely,
seeing that.
because absolutely, energy is just not something that is, exchanged in person. Energy can be exchanged through the screen, but that's why I also pay attention. Not, I don't make content when I'm vibing low. I am
Yeah.
not that high vibe every single day, most
Yeah.
days, sure, but I'm also a human. And, I think as digital creators, we also have that responsibility not to put our bad energy onto people. So if I'm vibing really high, I love making content because I love to spread those top quality vibes from Isolation TV. But, if I'm feeling low, I'm not gonna make content because I don't want people to
Yeah.
absorb that from me.
Mm.
So
Yeah, definitely. I think
I think it would be just irresponsible thing to do because I can make content, but
yeah,
why? Yeah.
that's it. No, I agree with you. And I think that's something that I've learned, as well since doing it. Like you said, people always, you're human at the end of the day, and it's okay to not put out content, or it's okay to feel a certain way. Um, it's a bit like a chef, isn't it? A chef can cook, but it could be the difference between them putting out, a 10-star meal to something that's just out there. And you have to look after your energy, and you have to have that balance, don't you? It's kind of being mindful of all these things. And I know we're okay, UK for time. Do you want to round up in a minute? I know we said,
Wrap it up
yeah,
a
that's
little
cool.
bit. Yeah.
That's all good. But it's always great to connect with you, Agnesckia, and I wish you continue success in all that you're doing. I think you're doing a great job with your friend Basho, is it? What's her name?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and where can we find you on Instagram? It's isolation_TV, right?
Yes, Isolation TV on Instagram, and we also have the Soul Boost podcast on Instagram as well. So it's Soul_Boost_podcast, and you can also listen
Awesome.
to us on all major platforms.
Awesome. What I'll do is I'll definitely put all your content in the bio, and I'll share it for you and put it out there. But yeah, it's been great talking to you, and I wish you all the best for your day.
Thank you so much, Adam. Likewise, that was a
You're
great
welcome.
one.
No worries.